Hi, y'all, and welcome to episode 65 of the Lunch Bunch Show. Today we're talking video, and is Facebook killing the video star, namely YouTube? With all this move to autoplay and direct uploads, what kind of dent do you think Facebook is going to make on the online video market? And we're going to look at that today because I think there's a lot of ramifications there for both marketers and consumers. I mean, I personally, well, I don't want to give. I won't tell you now. I'll wait till later until we get into the conversation because because I'm supposed to be the moderator and impartial. So let's talk about video, and the things that we're going to talk about. My first question is going to be, why is Facebook moved to include autoplay and favor native video uploads a threat to YouTube, or is it? And I'm going to pass that first question off to BL. BL, what do you got to say?
Hi, everybody. Well, before I say anything, I want to wish our friend Scott Silverstein the very best because he's facing cancer surgery tomorrow, and I know he's going to come through it just great, and he's going to be fine, but he needs our well wishes. So, Scott, we're rooting for you. Okay, so video. I happen to think that what Facebook has become is an advertising platform that has some content. And when I visit Facebook and I see all these videos running, they simply annoy me. And I do not believe the numbers that they've put forth about the number of videos that are being watched, because I believe that they're cooking the books and they're counting every time a video plays automatically. So I think we have a long way to go before video on Facebook begins to compete or interrupt what's going on YouTube.
Well, I'm going to bring up a comment right away, a very early comment from Jim. And Jim says, so the face of video distribution is going to change very quickly, and no one is going to know how to ride the bucking horse in the newfangled rodeo. But we must keep working at it because video is so powerful. I agree. Video is powerful, and especially this year, everybody's saying video is the medium of the year. So this is going to really make some big changes. What do you think, Jess?
I think it is, and I think that we are being asked to buy all of these wonderful platforms that allow us to have our social proof, our social interaction, our ability to reach our customers in this technology way. I think we're going to have to make some hard choices, because I love the idea of video everywhere, and I love the idea everybody has their own rules, and I love the idea that now we have all these options. But I hate the fact that most people will have to choose. They will have to prioritize. Where do you start? Where do you go next? Where do you go after that? And so if you're already on Facebook, it makes a lot of sense to embrace this and figure out how to use this and win. If you're not, it's really not news for you. So come back next week and watch our show next week is what I would have to say about that. But if you're thinking about Facebook, this is going to be a show that every single person on this panel is going to have some insight about, that knows more about Facebook and what they're doing than I do. I just know that if you're on Facebook, it's going to be a very important thing to know and understand, because I think it plays a big part in how you market there.
Randy, do you think this is a threat to YouTube at all?
YouTube is by far the largest online video viewership platform in the world. I don't think it's a threat. I think it might have some disruption because of what Facebook is trying to do. I mean, Facebook wants to own you for everything. I don't think that Google does not want to own you for everything, but it comes down to customer experience and the consumer, what they like. But what video, the play with video is quite frankly about the creators of the video. And YouTube has probably in their wisdom forecasted some stuff coming from from Facebook or something else, but they've added a lot of features to the creative side of their platform that is allowing these people to just do some marvelous stuff with very easy to use tools out there. So I think it's too big to take down. I mean, what is the What's the viewership on YouTube daily? It's 3 billion or something.
Billion.
Yeah, I mean it's just unbelievable. So when you start talking about that, I think it could disrupt. But then again, if you're talking from a brand standpoint, it goes back to you got to go where your customers are. Okay, if you're not reaching them on a YouTube channel or integrating your YouTube channel over on Facebook in some kind of way, then you need to to identify that first. The video aspect goes down to what is it allowing you to do, and YouTube has a good platform for the creative and the novice to be creative to develop nice content, video content.
I think the viewership I just checked. I think it's like 5 billion views a day.
Yeah, I mean it's unbelievable.
I think and Facebook is claiming 3 billion. So before we go, I just want to make sure Scott is their video guy. So I want to make sure Scott has something to say.
Well, thanks. And what I have to say is complimentary to what everyone else has said. Except for I don't think Ray that Facebook is a walled garden. I think it's a village, and it's a huge village. And as such, it doesn't matter about YouTube or whatever happens. There are just so many people who are interested in YouTube that if they offer video, that's the cinema that those people are going to go to, down the street and around the corner, and there's your video.
Yeah, the brand loyalty thing comes into play with that. I mean, people have become, Facebook has become integrated into their daily lives for the most part. And now I'm not saying the entire world, but 99% of the entire world has kind of integrated that, right? So the small other 1% or whatever, they might be somewhere else. So Facebook is bringing all those things to them as any business would. Now, there's people like you and I. We shop around over on YouTube for various things. We might go over to Pinterest for various things, and we do that. Some people want to go one place and do one-stop shopping. That's fine to them.
But, from a brand point of view, the fact that Facebook is not indexed in search is a very big difference between Facebook and YouTube. And just last night, I uploaded a video to YouTube, and Google indexed it in a matter of minutes. And that clearly has an impact on brand SEO. And what's on Facebook, also from my point of view, what's on Facebook is teeny, and what's on YouTube is much more pleasant to look at. And the tools also that are provided are quite extraordinary. I'm able now, and I know that Ronnie does this as well, I'm able to use the YouTube editing platform to edit my videos. And you couldn't do that a couple of months ago, but they keep improving it almost daily.
Sure. Well, speaking of Ronnie, I just want to bring this up because when I came up with the topic, I wanted to reach out to him to see what he thought about it. And so he was kind enough to share this his opinion with me, and I'll just read it out. It seems a shame that YouTube is now entering the world of autoplay videos. I guess they caved to view count bragging from Facebook. There is some merit to how Netflix has used this tactic, but for most YouTube videos, I don't think they connect in the same way as a series does on Netflix. Now, YouTube does have the autoplay on playlist, right? I mean, we've been used to that for a while. So if you go into a playlist, it'll go to the next. The difference now, of course, is that it's going to go to another video, and you'll have the option to cancel it or not. There is an option, I believe. I don't have it yet here in Canada, so I don't know if you guys seen it yet.
If the owner has set it that way.
Right. By default.
Well, the autoplay is brand new. You can turn it off, yes.
Right.
You can't do that on Facebook.
No, well, but on Facebook, what I was reading in preparation for this conversation is that the only way the autoplay works is if Facebook is hosting your video. So if you have this strategy that's your entire brand strategy and you're hosting your videos off of Facebook, you don't benefit from that autoplay, which is kind of nice because you're not forced into this. And you get to think about how can you show up and actually take advantage of whether it's the size or the message or the length, because I think the people on Facebook, when they're looking in their stream, is going to have a different type of viewership than what might be needed on a website or what is expected in Vimeo or a YouTube or some, wherever else you might host your Wistia, wherever else you might host your videos. So I think that there's some things to consider in that realm too. And we may end up producing one video but editing it twice, once for a single place and another time for Facebook, and then maybe even a third time for a third platform, depending on how we decide to incorporate video into our own business strategies.
Well, that brings me to the second question. The second question is basically how does it affect marketers? Yes, Randy, go ahead.
Well, okay, marketers, and let's peel it back and say I'm not arguing with Ronnie, but Ronnie has a vested interest in Google products and things like that. That's his where he likes to play a lot. Okay, others have a vested interest in Facebook, so they're promoting the Facebook thing. So I take the marketing aspect out of it. If your consumers you're trying to hit are in Facebook, you better be putting a message there, right? So Jessica was spot on. I mean, there's nothing wrong in putting, taking the thing and edit it for that platform, but I agree, YouTube has a lot more quality, a lot more depth, a lot more features that you can do with it. I mean, you can drive some of the new creator credit things where you can get to the end and you can drive to your collaborators and go to their sites and things like that inside of the videos are just fantastic, to people. You don't really, the average person on Facebook, the consumer saying, I just want to see this little tidbit from Taco Bell or whatever. That was cute. I didn't know that that's where they source their meat from. And that satisfies them, and they go on.
But you know what?
Or they skim through it. Now I agree with BL's skepticism about the count and the counting the thing, because it used to be, I forget on YouTube, it used to be you had to view it for so many seconds before YouTube would count it. I don't know if that's still correct or not, but you had to stay on there for so many seconds. That's how they sold the advertising. So now they're just selling numbers, view numbers. So that's the marketing aspect of it, which I discount.
From the marketing aspect also, you have to consider the fact that only 2 out of every 100 of your followers on Facebook is going to see any of your content unless you boost it by paying for it. The thing that to me makes YouTube so much more valuable from a marketing point of view is the fact that when people go to YouTube to see a video, they have chosen to do that. They want to see that content. And to me, that has greater value in the marketing aspect.
Okay, so I want to roll this back just one second, because I want to bring up Deborah's point. Randy, I think you are correct. It depends on the consumer's preference and what they feel comfortable using. Now, having said that, Facebook is doing this obviously because they want people to stay on Facebook longer, and it seems to be working. It kind of makes sense. But so, in terms of how the consumers will react, there's a couple things. First of all, are they annoyed by it? I hate autoplay. I find it annoying. I was always told when I started websites that never put an autoplay video on your landing page, because people don't like it. Or you click on a site and then you go to another tab and you don't know where the video is coming from, and it's annoying. But again, if you want to keep people on there, the other thing, Facebook has some interesting, I guess, features for the autoplay and the videos on the Facebook pages that they change. You can have a featured video. You can upload those videos onto your page, create a playlist. Again, they're trying to make their own little world, and that seems to work. So the question in terms of marketers, and Jessica, you brought this up earlier, and I think it's right. I think, unfortunately, marketers are going to have to do both. They're going to have to invest on videos on Facebook and upload them directly, because I posted a photo on the event page comparing what a YouTube upload looks like with a direct upload. And obviously the direct upload covers the whole column, whereas the YouTube is a thumbnail. So there's preference there for sure. So if you want your stuff to be seen, you kind of almost have to do a direct upload. The other point, and I'm sorry to hog this, but it concerns me, is that what about copyright? YouTube is very strict about that, but what stops people from downloading a video, someone else's video, and then uploading it directly on Facebook and getting all that,
Well, you're very right about that.
They'll deal with that.
But you're correct about that. That is an issue. And, the idea, I think Jess has spot on that we're going to have to do both. But who this is going to be really great for is Vimeo. Because it's Vimeo that Facebook features mostly.
I want to take exception with what you just said, Ray, and in the fact that you kind of looked at it as, Facebook is trying to keep you there. What if Facebook is giving their clients, customers, viewers, readers what they want or what they're asking for?
That's where I was just going to go.
I mean, maybe that's. I mean, and you shared that you don't like the continuous play or automatic play. You can always go up to the right corner and click on it and say, I don't want to see this, because you're in control of that feed. Maybe you follow some brand, and every time they show up in your feed, it's a video that's annoying to you. You just stop following them.
I have to agree. I mean, Facebook wouldn't do this if it was going to piss off their
yeah, and I think. I mean, you started off the show today saying that video is expanding and blowing up, and everybody's into video. Well, I mean, then we're going to see a hell of a lot more of it.
I don't want to have to turn stuff off. I want to turn. No, I find that autoplay thing absolutely annoying, and I can't imagine that Ray and I are alone in that one.
You're probably not. It doesn't bother me. But you're certainly not. I mean, to me, you just scroll through it. So if you don't want to see it, just go.
I mean, what I see in my feed is, cute animal videos. That's all I see. I see, outrageous things and cute animal videos. I don't see anything that is related in any way to business on my feed. I really just don't.
Okay, I'm going to bring up, actually, I'm going to bring this up from William. And William says when he looks at social traffic for any company, he looks at Google Analytics and see what happens. Looks for the negative, positive comments and shares. And you can't see the rest of this, so I'll read it. So marketers need to understand the audience first, and as a marketer, they also need to be good with all platforms and know how best to utilize their marketing budgets. And that's true. We kind of said that. I mean, Jessica, as Jessica said, we're kind of stuck. We're going to have to use both because they're two different strategies somewhat. And whether, thank God, they don't have auto play audio, because that would be hell. But yeah, I find that I think it's working for them, and I think that it's changing the video game. The question was, how much traffic are they going to suck from YouTube? Do you think people will pay more attention to Facebook videos than YouTube videos?
This is what I think. I think if somebody wants to learn something, if they want to view something, Netflix for a movie or whatever, they're going to go to YouTube and say, I want to listen to that concert that just played at wherever, and it's on. They're going to do that. For the most part, for Facebook, it is just an expanded version of Twitter. You can get a little bit more into it and go. If you put a video on Facebook that's 5 minutes long, people are not going to watch it. Now, they might watch the first 15 seconds of it, but I don't mean as a whole. But the majority of people they're going to click on and go. If it's a minute long, they'll probably view it and make a comment of it. And if you don't believe me, try it. Just upload a few of them and try it.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. And if they're longer on Facebook, nobody's going to watch.
And that is why when Facebook put video on Instagram, they went that expanded thing over Vine, because that's what you call a bumper in commercial business, and it fits that time slot.
But Twitter is having video now too, so. You can watch them there, and I actually am more likely to watch video in my Twitter stream than I am to watch it on Facebook, simply because it looks better.
I'd like to jump in and say I love what Facebook does, because they actually brought their knowledge of big data down to anybody who has a business page in that platform that wants to use it. And this, going back to something that Randy said, they know their customer, they know what they're going to want, and they are going to set the people up that are using Facebook to have the best possible result. Yes, obviously there's going to be a cost to it because they're doing the work. They're creating this platform for you to connect to your people, but they're also then giving you exposure to that information and that infrastructure that's going to make you successful there, and there is a value there. And I think if we're looking at that value equation, that's a really cool thing that they're doing, and I don't want to discount that piece of it. Whether I like Facebook or not is outside of the story. If you're using Facebook because your customers are there, really use it, because they're giving you all kinds of data that you have to figure out on your own everywhere else.
Except Google, but you have to pay for the
But
use of Facebook tools.
It's much more technical on Google. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if I'm not a technical person and I need to get to statistics that I understand, Facebook's giving that to me within their platform, and I have less to learn. It's easier to learn, and I can understand why that's a draw to a lot of people. I'm not going to discount the power of Google Analytics.
It perplexes me sometimes to sit around and listen to marketers talk about having to spend money about marketing and not liking to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think about what we're talking about today and go back to television, you sit down and you watch a television program, and Madison Avenue filled every 10 minutes up, they would break for 3 minutes or 4 minutes of commercials. You had no choice. You know, you could get up and leave, but those commercials came on, and not only did they come on, they came on at a higher volume than what you were watching your television show at. You sat down and looked at your New York Times or your local paper, and you're reading a story, and you flip the page, it's surrounded by advertising. All that is paid media that is there. These platforms were never set up to be a paid media program. Now, maybe in Mark Zuckerberg's head, way back at Harvard days when he was chasing skirts and came up with this idea or stole the idea or wherever how Facebook started, he thought at some point in time this is going to be the biggest media behemoth out there, you know, and we'll be able to change the whole model. I think it has evolved to that. I don't think that seed was planted way back then. But that's what has happened. And marketers realize that.
People are not watching TV, and people are not reading print as much as they used to, and one of the reasons is the intrusive advertising.
I disagree with that.
We'll go back to that. Scott, let's hear what you have to say.
Well, very briefly, I listen to you guys and my head explodes because social media is supposed to be, you know, the democratization of mass media. It's supposed to be for all of us. But for it to really work for a business, you've got to have a darn college education. You've got to be a professional. It is just getting so complex that it's out of the hands of the average person to be able to manipulate whatever it is necessary in order to be powerful in the medium. They have to pay money to get someone, and what I hear you guys say is not only do you have to pay money for a marketer, that marketer is going to spend extra money to give to the platform so that you can reach the final destination, which are the eyes and the ears of the people you want to sell items to, right?
Okay, you're spot on, Scott. You're right. Social media was about this thing, right? But some of these platforms have grown beyond the social media thing. If you want to go and engage with like-minded folks, there's platforms out there that do not have any advertising on it, and you can engage with them. But what happens is when those platforms launch, everybody syncs them before they even check, and they say Facebook's the place to be. So if Facebook's the place to be, you ain't going to change it back to that way. It has turned into a media channel.
And that goes back to the propensity of the internet, winner take all, because people want to go where people are. They don't want to go to some place where they're all alone.
Well, not necessarily. Well, businesses want to go where people are so they can sell shit, right? That's what they want to do.
Well, if I want to buy something, I want to buy it from Amazon. I don't want to buy it from someone I don't know about. But
if you go to Amazon, if you go to right now and you look at something, and you Google it and all that, and you go over to Facebook, I guarantee you that cookie is sitting there on your page as soon as you look at it from Amazon or whoever shared it with you.
Not only that, but long after you bought it, that cookie's sitting there because the big data doesn't work all that well. So weeks after you buy whatever the damn thing is, you're still being sold that thing. Data has a long way to go.
You can go up in the corner and say, okay, I don't want to see this anymore.
I don't have to work at advertising. I just don't have to do that.
I think let's take this back before we get into the takeout section. I totally agree, and I think both Randy and BL alluded to the fact that Facebook now is not the platform that it started off to be. And I mean it is, and I've said this before, and BL mentioned it at the top of the show. I really see Facebook as the new cable TV, you know? And now with the video thing, it's even more so. People look at Facebook, I think, differently than they look at other platforms. People spend a lot of time on Facebook, right? They'll just scroll and scroll and scroll. And this autoplay grabs their eyeballs. And they'll sit there for those extra 30 seconds, 2 minutes, or whatever, and watch that video. People tend to go to YouTube and search for something. Well, I'm sure there are people that will just pass a half a day looking at YouTube videos, but I tend to go to YouTube for a particular reason. So I think there's two different habits here. And I think that Facebook understands that, and by having the autoplay on their Facebook streams, they are going to capture more people, more time, and advertisers are going to like that, and advertisers are going to invest on creating these little short videos that will basically put more money in their bank. So it is. I think it's like sponsorships.
And recently, our president of the United States brought in 4 YouTube superstars and sat down and gave them an interview in the White House. I mean, think about that, because he knows that's where that crowd's at. I mean, that's the ploy. I mean, that's what got him elected originally, is playing up to that social sphere out there, and there's another play towards it.
More and more brands are doing that, and some of the YouTube stars now have agents.
Oh yeah, totally. It's a whole different industry.
The ones that get me is the Vine ones that have agents.
I want to say thank you to Lee and William, who are leaving some helpful links in the event page. And I want to go now to, have we discussed everything? I don't know if we discussed the consumer aspect as much as I would like to have, in terms of, we had mentioned the data usage issue, and if this is going to be a pushback for this. But we can, you can leave your comments maybe in the event page. I want to go to the takeouts, and let's start with Scott.
Okay, well, I am researching this, happened to run across a phenomena that I wasn't quite familiar with. It's called Facebook freebooting, and there just happened to be an interesting article that Jim Schenkel alluded to in a post actually yesterday. And basically, it's something that then links to Jen Andrews' wonderful video on the topic. And basically, let me get myself back here, and I think Randy was alluding to it, you can take someone else's video, upload it to YouTube, and there will be hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of views. There's lots of money made for somebody or other, and then eventually Facebook will take it down. But according to John Andrews, Facebook is dragging its feet, because as they do that, they make more money. So it's kind of a little bit of a rant, but it's a new and interesting phenomena, and something that he believes that there's going to be a class action suit about one of these days. So,
whoa, cool.
Interesting.
All righty, Randy.
Well, in light of the show today, I would share a resource that I've used frequently, and that is the leading resource for YouTube marketing, the Zephyr blog. If you haven't been there, I will share the link, and I happen to pull up the link I'll share is the 12 killer resources for owned media on YouTube. It's a very helpful resource, been helpful to me, and it'll point you in a lot of right directions.
Thanks very much, Randy. And Jessica, what we got for takeout?
I snagged an article about how do you use video testimonials throughout your website. So when we're talking about wherever we're putting our video, where does it actually add value and help you convert on that page? So if you have pages that don't convert, really kind of think about why are they there in the first place, number one. Number two, utilizing what we can do with video and the power of video in those pages. And I'm a fan of not autoplay. Let me press that button, please. So I'll throw the link in.
Thanks, Jess. Okay, BL, let's see what you got.
Well, I just pointed to an article about the benefits of having video on a landing page and how much that will magnify the results that you get. And that's for anybody who hasn't been diving into creating video, because it really is a very, if not the most effective form of content right now for increasing traffic.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share a link in the event page very soon. It's just basically 60 amazing YouTube statistics. So we can have a look at that and then compare them to what Facebook is saying their usage on the new videos are. So I want to thank again, there's some amazing comments in the event stream. Frank Gainsford just wrote a very long one, so I invite you all to have a look at that. And thank you again for coming, and we'll see you next week for episode 66. Take care. Bye-bye.